Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make some miniature paper bags in 4 different styles using your Cricut machine. For this project I've used 1/6 scale and 1/12 scale. I've created a gift bag with handles, a paper shopping bag with handles, one with a serrated edge at the top, and then a white paper bag with an oval shape handle. I've saved this project on Cricut Community. If you'd like a link, comment below. In this tutorial, I'll show you how to make one bag to start off with, and then we'll create the 4 variations. To start, I googled the dimensions of a paper shopping bag. I created the bag in Cricut Design Space using the full dimensions, and then scaled it down later. To start, we're going to create a square in Cricut Design Space under Shapes. Then I changed the cut fill color to white to make it easier to see my cut lines. Then using the bag dimensions from earlier, I changed the size of the square. This rectangle now forms the front of our bag. Then we're going to duplicate this rectangle for the back of our bag. To do that, we hit Actions and then Duplicate. Now we're going to create the sides for our paper bag. To do this, create another square. Then we're going to drag it over to our 2 rectangles and unlock the padlock before dragging it down so that it's the same height as our other rectangles. Then I changed the color to white under the Edit function. It should look a little bit like a book cover. And we're going to increase the width of that rectangle to make our bag a little bit wider. Be sure to drag that right hand side rectangle over so that it's adequately spaced. Then duplicate that smaller rectangle and drag it over to the left hand side. So we're going to create a 4th rectangle which will sit on the far left hand side, and this will be used to glue to the section on the right hand side. And we're going to reduce the width of that shape by half. Then drag it over so it fits together nicely. Finally, make one more rectangle and place it at the bottom. You can drag it over so it fits the width of your entire bag. Change the color to white, and then we're going to resize the height to 7 centimeters to line up with our other shapes. Now that we've created our bag template, we're going to duplicate this shape and use the lines we've created as a guide for where we should score. So duplicate that shape, and then you're going to highlight it and weld it together so that it's one rectangle. The score lines are going to help you assemble your bag. Placing your rectangle underneath the template you've created, we can then create some score lines under the Shapes tab. Use the template above to guide exactly where you need to place your score lines. Drag the score line all the way down to the bottom there. Then you're going to repeat this process so that the bag underneath has all the same scoring lines as the template above. Once all of the vertical lines are placed, select your entire bag, drag it over to sit beside our template, and then draw a horizontal line for the bottom. You'll notice on the bag there is a score line in between the 2 rectangles and some triangles on the bottom, so I'm going to show you how to make that now. Going back to our rectangle which has all of the score lines, we're going to add some more score lines. So click on Line, and then we're going to drag that over so that it sits right in the middle between those 2 score lines on either end, and it needs to go right to the bottom of your rectangle. Then we need another one for the right hand side. So having a look at our bag, you'll notice that I've created some score lines, which are these triangles at the bottom. These score lines help in folding the bag to make a 3-dimensional shape. To do this, we create another score line, and then we change the angle of that line by clicking on the top right hand corner, which looks like a little arrow pointing in a circle. And you want to line it up right into that corner there and then drag it over so it hits the left hand side of your bag. Then we're going to draw another diagonal line which has a similar angle and runs through that corner area there. And drag it so that it hits the bottom of your bag right there. Now we need to create another triangle score line, and in order to get the angle just right, you're going to click the previous line that created, duplicate that line, and then we're going to flip it horizontally so that it retains the exact angle that you used. Drag it over so it lines up nicely. Then again, repeat that step for the same line and flip it horizontally so that you get the exact same angle. Then there's one final score line which sits around here. Now we want to join everything together, so you'll need to highlight your rectangle and your score lines and then click attach. Now we're ready to scale everything down to mini size. So we know our bag height is 29 centimeters. Using inch calculator, I've typed 29 centimeters and then 1/12 scale, or you could put in 1/6 scale, and then we enter the converted height into Cricut Design Space. And we have a 1/6 and a 1/12 scale bag. I then added logos, which I'm going to cut out from vinyl. I found my chosen logo on Google image search and then saved that as a JPEG or a PNG. Go into Cricut Design Space, click upload, select the image I've saved, and then we're going to hit the magic wand button to remove the white space. And you can see the target shape there. And then we're going to click next, and we're going to save this as a cut image because, as I said, I'm going to be cutting it from vinyl, not printing it out. Save that and then insert it onto your canvas. You'll notice that it's really large, so we need to drag the right hand bottom corner to resize it to our miniature bags. Then I made an even smaller version in 1/12 scale using the duplicate button. And I've repeated these fundamental steps for our Big W logo and our Kmart logo. I've also changed the colour of these logos so that the Cricut knows to place these on a separate mat with blue vinyl and red vinyl. Now I'm going to show you how to make these rounded handles on our target bag. So I've created a square and then resized it so that it fits on the front and back part of my bag, like so. And I really wanted it to have rounded edges to really give it that authentic look. So I created some circles to go on either end. Resize them so they really fit each end of our rectangle. Drag it over like so. And once I've made that one circle, I can then duplicate and drag it over to the other side. Now we want it to be one uniform shape, so we're going to highlight the rectangle in two circles, and we're going to use the weld tool, and you'll notice it makes it one shape. And when we drag it over to our bag, I can continue to resize this shape, make it bigger or smaller. Once I've got the right size, then I duplicate it because our bag needs a handle on both sides. Then we're going to use the attach tool to attach those shapes to our bag. And this tells the Cricut that we want to cut those handles out of the paper. Now onto our gift bag, you can see these tiny holes at the top which will help hold our handles. To do this, we're going to create a circle and then resize it so that it's a teeny tiny circle on our bag, and you're going to need 4 of them. For our third paper bag, I'm going to create some handles. So head over to the shape section and click on the hexagon shape. The padlock here to unlock the aspect ratio, and then drag it so it's quite narrow. Then we're going to duplicate this shape and make it a little bit smaller so that it fits snugly in our first hexagon. Now we're going to slice the small shape out of the big one, so use the slice tool, and when you drag those pieces over, you can see you've got a handle at the top. But we also need to cut out the bottom, so use a square, drag it over to get the desired height you're after, and then highlight both and click the slice tool. And again, you can drag those pieces over and we've got the perfect handle. Then you can drag this shape over and resize it, and you'll need 2 pieces for the front and the back. Important to note that you shouldn't attach the handles to your bag because the Cricut will cut them out separately and we will use glue to attach them. For our last bag, I'm going to show you how to make this serrated edge at the top. In Cricut Design Space, click Image, and I searched for the word edge because I wanted to get a nice kind of jagged border. Searching through the images until I found exactly the right shape. This one was perfect. So we're going to select that shape and then click Insert, which will insert it onto our canvas. You'll then need to resize it so that it matches the size of our paper bag. You'll notice it doesn't quite fit the width of our bag, so I've duplicated the shape and stuck 2 of them together by using the weld function. So now we have a shape that fits our bag dimensions. We're going to drag this shape to the top of our bag, highlight the shape and the bag, and then we're going to use the slice tool. And you'll see here that the shape has actually cut out that serrated edge from our bag. You'll just need to drag these parts aside and delete them. Now that we've created all 4 bags, we can duplicate them and then adjust the size to fit the 1/6 scale. I also changed the colour of some of the bags because I wanted to use different materials, and the Cricut places them on a separate mat. For the Kmart and Big W bags, I've used this brown Kraft paper. Load that into the Cricut machine. Before cutting, the Cricut will ask you to load your scoring wheel. And it will score all of the lines that we've created in Design Space. Once the scoring is done, the Cricut will pause and ask you to insert the knife blade. Then the Cricut will cut out your bags. Then we're going to repeat all of these steps for our target bag and our gift bag. Then we're going to cut the logos from our blue and red vinyl. Because our logos are quite intricate, I recommend cutting on the washi setting with more pressure. The machine will cut slower and get those really intricate cuts. Peel your bags from your Cricut mat. here are the logos cut from the vinyl. Now I'm going to show you how to fold your paper bag. We're going to start with these ends here. Fold the first score line down, and then you're going to fold the second score line up and the third scored line down. And repeat that process for the other end. Next, flip your bag around, and the fold line across the bottom we need to fold downwards. Next, we're going to fold this triangle on the left hand side downwards, and we're going to glue it to the inside edge so it stays put. The bottom of your bag should look like this. Next, fold this score line inwards. And apply some glue so it's stuck down. Then on the right hand side of the bottom of our bag, we're going to fold this little corner inwards. Then stick it down with some glue. Then fold this score line here inwards. Apply some glue and stick it down. Again, fold this line inwards. Going to apply some glue to the outside tab here so it can stick to the other end, and apply some glue at the bottom as well. Tweezers are really helpful because you can reach the bottom of the bag and then stick down all of these parts. You can also use the end of the tweezers to push down on the tabs at the bottom and then press up against it with your finger, just to really flatten it out. And there you have it, your bag folding is complete. To stick these logos onto our bag, I've used some sticky tape as transfer tape. Carefully center them onto your bag, stick it down, and then peel away that sticky tape. For the more intricate cuts, I've used a reverse weeding process, which is where you stick the transfer tape across the whole vinyl piece, peel off all of the backing, then carefully weed all of the parts that need to be removed. This is really helpful for those intricate letters that you want to stay stuck to the transfer tape. I also used reverse weeding on the Kmart logo. For the handles on our Kmart bag, just placed a little bit of glue on either end of the handle and then using some tweezers, stick it to the inside of our Kmart bag. For the handles on our purple gift bag, I've used this jute string which I've separated like so. Then untwist that single piece like so. Once unravelled, I cut it in half. Then using a purple texture, I coloured it in so that it matches our gift bag. Twist it back up again. And then once you've cut it down to size, you can fit it into those tiny holes that have been cut from your Cricut. It's also really important to glue it down from the inside. And there you have it, guys. You've made some tiny little bags in 4 styles. We've got our little gift bag here, our little Kmart bag with the handle at the top. We've got our tiny Target bag. And lastly, our big W bag with the serrated edge at the top. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial and that you've learnt something from me along the way. Be sure to like and subscribe if you'd like to see more great content.